Hey everyone, it's Gianna Castro from the Women's Sports Matter podcast, and today I'm going to be discussing the sponsor of this show, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. My name is Gianna Castro and I am your host. Today we are going to be talking about how it is the very first day of Pride Month. I cannot wait to celebrate, and I will tell you how we're going to be celebrating. We're also going to talk about what is happening in the tennis world right now in regards to Naomi Osaka. First, let's talk about Pride Month. I was originally going to just make today's episode about Pride Month, and then I realized there's more important things to talk about, so I can just combine the two for today's episode. That's why I'm talking about this part here first. So for every episode within this month, we are going to be talking about queer athletes within the women's sports community. I will look through some of my favorite athletes. I'll talk about them and their careers. Then I'll move into the topic of that episode. And I do have a lot of interviews scheduled coming up, so hopefully the guests on my show will be okay with me doing a little thing before I get started with them. Pride Month means a lot to me. It's my fourth Pride Month being out. I believe it's my fourth one. Yeah, it's number 4. I celebrated 4 years coming out this year, so that's fun. Came out in 2017 at the end of my freshman year of high school, and now it's the end of my freshman year of college. Time flies. Time really does fly. And it's so cool that, people are going to decide to come out this month. And I think it's really, really important that if you have a friend or relative that does that, to be as supportive as possible. Don't make any bad comments or anything. Just be supportive. Don't buy them wacky Pride stuff off Amazon because that shit sucks. Just be as supportive as possible, and don't feel like that you're not doing your best to be supportive. Just make sure you're there for that person and just try your best not to be judgy. I didn't have the best coming out experience ever. But obviously, it's gotten better. So, I'm super duper comfortable now and everything like that. Love being me, of course. It's a nice feeling to be supported, and I want other people to have that feeling. So I just wanted to talk about that really quick. Happy June 1st. Also, it's 19 days until my birthday. I'm turning 19. No more 18. This is going to be my last year of being a teenager. And then my golden birthday will hit. Nothing golden about being 20, though. But I'm turning 19. And I've decided to celebrate my birthday by going rock climbing, because that's a hobby of mine that I don't get to do often, is how I describe it to people. I love rock climbing, not like actual rock climbing with actual rocks, like, you go to a spot on your campus in the rec center or whatever, and you go on the rock climbing wall. That is so much fun, and that's how I'm going to spend my birthday. My birthday also falls on Father's Day this year, so that's tricky. But I think we're going to do all my stuff first, and then later in the day, my family's going to celebrate Father's Day. But I'm excited to see what 19 brings, It's not like age matters or anything. Well, in a lot of places it matters. Why do they have to be mowing the lawn right now? It's 9 a.m. Also, of course, I'm recording this an hour before the podcast goes up. I'm recording this and I'm going out for a run because it's in the 60s and that's perfect running weather for me. Anyway. Pride Month. Like I said before, in the beginning of each episode, I'm going to highlight a queer athlete because it is Pride Month. Just want to talk about them and their career for a minute and then get a move on in terms of, what I actually want to talk about in today's episode. We have the side focus and the main focus. So, today's athlete that I will be talking about is none other than Breanna Stewart, who is a awesome basketball player. She is one of my favorite athletes to watch in the WNBA. And if you have no idea who Breanna Stewart is, you are sleeping under a rock. Because how could you not know who this person is? If you say you're a women's sports fan and you don't know who Breanna Stewart is, you might as well just stop watching women's sports. That's embarrassing, bro. So embarrassing. Anyway, let's talk about Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart is a 2-time WNBA champion, which occurred in 2018 and 2020. A 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, which again occurred in 2018 and 2020. In 2018, she was the WNBA MVP. Also in 2018, she made the All-WNBA first team. Let's just talk about... there's one more thing from 2018. No, two more things. FIBA World Cup MVP and USA Basketball Athlete of the Year. 2018 was a really good year for her. WNBA champion, Finals MVP, League MVP, All WNBA first team, FIBA World Cup MVP, and USA Basketball Athlete of the Year. That's... oh my God. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from. 6 different things that happened in 2018. 2018 was a good year for her. She was the Rookie of the Year in 2016 and also made the WNBA All-Rookie team in 2016 and made the All-WNBA second team in 2016. She was voted Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year for 2020, which ended up being kind of like a controversial thing because people believe that it should have been focused on the black players of the WNBA or maybe all 144 players of the WNBA. So it's complicated, I think... Did I make an episode about that? I think I talked about it at one point. Anyway, she is a 4-time NCAA champion with UConn. That's right. From freshman year to senior year, she won March Madness tournament every year. Crazy, right? That is outstanding. Also, those same 4 years, she was also named the most outstanding player of the tournament. I mean, if you win 4 times in a row, I think you're going to also have to win that award too. That is, she is so impressive. She's also done stuff outside of the United States, winning the Russian Women's Basketball Premier League this year. Also winning the EuroLeague Women Championship. Also being the regular season MVP in 2019 and being the Final Four MVP in 2021. She's been named USA Basketball Athlete of the Year 3 times, 2011, 2013, and 2018. That's pretty good. She's done a lot. She also proposed to her girlfriend earlier this year, or like a few months ago. So congrats to them. And I think it's time now to head to commercial break. That was the queer person of the day, I guess, highlighting queer athletes throughout the month, just to be like, hey, here's this person you should be following on social media, or like following their game, But we're going to head to commercial break real quickly, and then we're going to talk about Naomi Osaka. This is the Women's Sports Matter podcast, and we'll be right back. Welcome back from the commercial break, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed my newest little segment for Pride Month, of course. If you have any suggestions on players that I should highlight, and it can be anyone within women's sports leagues across the globe, whether it is a professional athlete, a manager/coach, or someone that works in the front office. And it can be women also involved within men's professional leagues as well. If you have any ideas, you can tweet me at WSM Podcast. You can send me an email at womensportsmatterpodcast at gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram. You can follow me at Women's Sports Matter. Sound good? Send me suggestions. Like, I don't want to just find people, and talk about the same people within, like, the WNBA or something. If someone from your country, think should be highlighted or whatever, like, send that to me, please. And I will do my best to research about them and talk about them. It's what the world needs, Let's come together and talk about queer athletes this month. Fun. Okay. So, let's talk about Naomi Osaka. Now, if you don't know who Naomi Osaka is, again, you're sleeping under a rock. She is I believe, the most, or the highest paid women in tennis. No. I feel like that would be Serena Williams. Let me look at this real quick. You'd think I'd be more prepared, but I woke up at like 8:30 this morning, and this needs to go up at 10. I am a professional podcaster, and you can't tell me otherwise. She was also named one of the
Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year. And as a part of 2 lists from Time magazine, which is 100 most influential people in the world in both 2019 and 2020. Let's see here. I thought that she was, but I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, she is ranked number 2 in the world in terms of the singles, I believe, behind Serena Williams. I'm not a big tennis follower, clearly, because, this is not the stuff I know. I know soccer, basketball, just started learning about hockey. I'm going to start learning about boxing and wrestling soon because I'm going to have people on my show to talk about that, so that's really cool, but I still got to educate myself. Educate myself, that's what I say. Instead of educate, I say educate. Because I'm 18 and I'm an adult. Anyway. Naomi Osaka was, how do I word this correctly? Was an American citizen and was a Japanese citizen. And in 2020, she decided that she would claim the Japanese citizenship instead. At age 22 in Japan, if you are a dual citizen, you have to either become a Japanese citizen or you can no longer be one. It's either or. She believed that for the Olympics, that it would be better off if she played for Japan. So she decided to become a Japanese citizen fully. And obviously when you look her up, it's going to say that she's a Japanese tennis player. She was born in Japan too, raised in the United States, but ultimately chose to represent Japan fully. And again, she did this because of the 2020 Olympics, which are now being held in 2021. Yada, yada, yada. I could go on about this. The real reason we are talking about Naomi Osaka today is because of what has happened recently between her and officials of the French Open. Now, I want to talk about what she said before she started playing at the French Open. If I could open that up really quickly. There we go. On May 26th, which was last week, if you're listening on June 1st, she did a notes app thing and posted it on all her socials saying, "Hope you're all doing well. I'm writing this to say I'm not going to do any press during Roland Garros. I've often felt that people have no regard for athletes' mental health, and this rings very true whenever I see a press conference or partake in one. We're often sat there and asked questions that we've been asked multiple times or asked questions that bring doubt into our minds, and I'm just not going to subject myself to people that doubt me. I've watched many clips of athletes breaking down after a loss in the press room, and I know you have as well. I believe that whole situation is kicking a person while they're down, and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Me not doing press is nothing personal to the tournament, and a couple journalists have interviewed me since I was young, so I have a friendly relationship with most of them. However, if the organizations think they can just keep saying, do press or you're going to be fine, and continue to ignore the mental health of the athletes that are a centerpiece of their cooperation, then I just gotta laugh. Anyways, I hope the considerable amount that I get fined for this will go towards a mental health charity. So what she's saying is, I am not going to do press conferences because of mental health. And I totally agree with her. When I watch interviews on TV, sports interviews specifically, when I watch them on TV or on YouTube, I don't like the choices of some journalists. As someone that's preparing to study to be a journalist, I know what to do and what not to do. Like, clearly, they have to do better. Stop asking the same questions. It's it's not that hard. Something that I do before I interview people for my show is I talk to them first beforehand for a few minutes. I'm like, this is what the show is about. I like to be wacky sometimes. Like I like to have a good time. It's a safe space, That's the atmosphere I try to create. Because I'm not a professional, but I also know what to do and what not to do. I think I'm smarter than some adult journalists out there that do not understand, for example, what Naomi is saying. Mental health is important. And I shouldn't even be having to make an episode about this because it's just so upsetting to me. But I just feel really bad for her, and she shouldn't have to leave the tournament or withdraw herself from the tournament because of that, which is my next talking point, is that she withdrew from the tournament because they wouldn't let her skip. Let's read an article. So, Monday, or yesterday, if you're listening to this on the 1st, she pulled out of the French Open because she would not participate in the press conferences. So since she skipped the first conference that she was supposed to attend, she was fined $15,000. And Ronald Garros posted on social media a photo, which has been deleted, of other athletes doing media hits with the caption, "They understood the assignment." Which, that's awful. That's awful. Why would anyone in their right minds poke fun at this kind of situation? It's a bad look. It's such a bad look. And I don't understand why they needed to do that. But whatever. And so Naomi's sister went on Reddit a few days ago to explain why her sister wouldn't be going to the press conference, and she said that Osaka suffers from depression, and I think the best way I can explain it is there needs to be some space between her and journalists. Like, give her some time to think about what just happened in the game. Also, mental health is just so stigmatized, and I think that's another part of why she was skipping the press conferences, or she was planning to. And so Monday, so yesterday, the head of the French Tennis Federation read a prepared statement saying he was sorry and sad for Osaka, and then did not take any questions from the media. The French people involved with the French Open have not found a way to, handle this situation the correct way. And I think that's what bothers me the most overall, is they don't know how to handle people trying to explain that they can't do press conferences because they have to deal with their mental health first. Mental health is health. That should be pretty self-explanatory. But some people just don't get it, and it drives me nuts. So that is the whole situation with Naomi Osaka, like the shortened version. My information that I got today was from an article from Axios, which will be linked in the description. As always, I always cite my sources. Always cite your sources. It's important. Also, before I go today, or before I do my outro, Chelsea won the Champions League. And I was super duper happy. I watched the whole game. I watched Kai Havertz score the winning goal, 1-0 over Man City. Love Chelsea. I'm excited for what's going to happen with that club, because in terms of men's soccer, the club I enjoy watching the most is Chelsea. So that was a nice treat the other day to watch that. And that's all I want to say. So if you enjoyed this episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast, you should subscribe so you know when I post the next episode. You should subscribe. That might be a good move for you, especially if you're a fan. Subscribe. Do it. Do it right now. Do it. Rate me on the Apple Podcasts thing too. That might be a good idea. Help out the pod. Tell me how I'm doing. Leave a review. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? Let me know how I'm doing. Again, you can follow me on social media as well. If you have a Twitter, so do I. You can follow me at WSM Podcast. Are you on Instagram? Me too. You can follow me at Women's Sports Matter. I did have a YouTube channel, but I think I'm not going to do that stuff anymore because I don't have time for that as much as I thought I did. So that's fun. No more YouTube for now. Maybe I'll just post my interviews on there. But, yeah. If you have questions, suggestions, or just want to reach out to me, you can email me at, here's the email, womansportsmatterpodcast@gmail.com. You can You can also DM me on Instagram or Twitter. Again, Woman Sports Matter on Instagram and at WSM Podcast on Twitter. That's fun to say. That really is a lot of fun to say. What else is happening? If you're not vaccinated, what are you doing? At least for people in the United States. You know, in America right now, we are so lucky that we have the ability to get 1 out of 3 vaccines. I was lucky enough to get Pfizer, and I got mine as soon as I was able to get mine, and you should too. Linked in the description is a website for people living in the United States to find a place to get vaccinated. We want to make sure that we reach like 80% as a population in order to get rid of COVID-19. Please, go get vaccinated. Do it. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't take that long. Read up about it first. Pick which one you want to get. Vaccines are available all over the United States. So it shouldn't be that hard to, find one. And if you're outside the United States, I hope that the U.S. helps out your country, or if your country is starting to roll out vaccines for everyone, that you go help out people in your country by getting vaccinated. Of course, until then, we still have to wear a mask, wash our hands, and social distance when we can. I'm enjoying my fully vaccinated life, and I know that I'm going to have to get a booster in like February or whatever, but that's okay. As long as I keep myself and others safe, I'm willing to get another vaccine. And no, there is no microchip in the vaccine. Please stop watching Fox News. That's going to do it for today's episode. Again, thank you so much for listening. Happy Pride Month. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know. Send me a review from the Apple Podcast app, or, tweet me, send me a message, stuff like that. Thank you again so much for listening to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. Again, I'm your host, Gianna Belcastro. Let's have a happy Pride Month, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. That's all, folks. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.